series featuring in-depth interviews with industry professionals, taking you behind the scenes of the film industry.
Hey guys, you're watching INDIE Filmmakers Movie Talks. And in this episode, director Philip Barantini will take us behind the scenes of the Netflix show Adolescence.
Police! What are you looking for?
Dad, I haven't done anything!
It's crazy what your brain tells you to do when you're a kid.
I'm Phil Barantini. I'm the director of Adolescence.
Awesome, welcome. I went blank into it. And I think after 10 or 15 minutes, I was like, did we switch camera already? What is going on? But because you're so into the story, you didn't notice it. How did that planning go?
I mean, you know, it all started with a script, really. And when you have the one shot in mind and you're writing a script with the one shot in mind, you know, it becomes this collaborative process between the writer and myself. I mean, it was still very tricky because, for example, when we did Boiling Point, we had the location before we started writing the script, so we wrote the script with the location in mind. Whereas with Adolescence, we didn't have any of the locations yet, or we didn't even know where we were going to shoot it. So Jack and Stephen would be writing these scenes and these places, and I'd have to go back and say, look, if we're going to drive from a house to a police station, it needs to be within about no more than 2 minutes, 3 minutes maximum, because we don't want to just be talking constantly in a car. I like to give space for just silences as well. And if there's too much silence, it becomes an audience are waiting for something, or, so there's a fine balance. Once we'd got the script and we knew where we were going to shoot it, we decided that we would build the police station for episode 1 in a studio, and we'd find the house, which was 3 minutes away from the studio. So that's what we did. And we then start to sort of find all of these locations and build out the script. And then myself and Matt, we would literally go through it moment by moment and just plan out the routes, from house to police station, and which roads we would go down. And then you plan out where the camera is going to be, where people are going to be sat in the vehicle. We would literally just plan it out like that in stages. And then when we got on set with the actors, we would then put the actors in the places we need them to be. But it all becomes this movable living organism, because I never want the actors to feel like they are hindered or they have to move this way at this point or this point. So it was, when we get into rehearsals with the actors, it's so important that they feel like they can move where they need to move within reason. You can't say, oh, well, now you're going to go up the stairs because I feel like going up the stairs. You have to come down this way because we're going out the door, sort of thing. So it was important to make it feel like it was. We kept calling it a choreographed dance. It's a dance move, one big dance move.
Yeah, it's so impressive. What's amazing to hear the technical aspect from it is that you guys had to plan everything. You had to build a station as well. You couldn't stop the take and then redo it, what you normally would do on a normal TV show or on a movie. Could you give instructions during the take? How did you approach that part of the directing?
No, I didn't want to do that, because I think, especially for the actors and also Matt and Lee, because I don't want to be distracting them, because everybody is so zoned in. Actors, camera team, the sound team, everybody is doing their jobs. So if I'm then come over the radio and say, oh no, move left, it's like they're gonna be distracted. I wanted them to be zoned in and to do it themselves. So most of my work, all of my work in fact, is done in the rehearsals. The rehearsal process was tough. It was a lot, it was a lot to do in a space of 2 weeks. But, when we were doing the takes, for example, episode 1, I was sat in a police van. One of the police vans is Video Village. And so there's me and the producer, the script supervisor, the sound recordist is in the van. And, so we're all in this van. The first AD's in the van with me. We're making notes, just like tweaks for the next take, It was stressful.
Yeah, so I can imagine, because normally you don't have that much rehearsal time, right? But you needed it.
Oh, yeah. We definitely needed it. There was a moment when we were talking about doing 3 weeks rehearsal and the week shoot. But I think there's a fine balance between, I have to choose actors who can work in this way, because, every actor has their own process. And so in the audition process, or even in the process of just talking to the actors, it was important for me to understand how they worked and whether they could do this. We would really put them through their paces in the rehearsal process. And I think if we would have gone another week, it would have been too ingrained in them. So I think there's an element of like, they're just teetering over the edge of the cliff and anything could happen at any moment. And it's like, say for example, if you do a play, you know, you're 6 weeks into the play and it's just, you're not thinking about what you're saying. You just, you know, and you start to do the same intonations and the same rhythms, and it just becomes this thing. And so I didn't want that to happen. I wanted it to be fresh every time, and also scary as well, you know what I mean? It's like, it's got to feel at a certain heightened level, you know, and the actors needed to feel that as well. I didn't want them to feel comfortable. I said to the actors, give them the freedom to be real and be natural. So I said, look, if the other person does something that sparks a reaction from you, just go with it. Don't try and hold it back. And so on the take that we've used for episode 3 was the final take of the week. And Owen sort of came to me in the morning. No, we'd done one take already. So we'd done the first take of the day. And then he came to me and he had a really sore throat and like he had a cough. And he said to me, like, I've got this cough and my throat's sore, killing me. I said, are you okay to carry on, or do you want to just leave the last take? And he's like, no, I want to do it. I said, well, in that case, Jamie's got a cough. You know, there's no continuity. We don't have to follow anything. This is a brand new take. So, you know, in this one, Jamie's not feeling too well. And he just was like, okay, I get it. So the yawn came from that as well, and him just being, you know, so comfortable. And then at one point he's like, oh, my throat's killing me. And that was because I said to him, you know, if it feels like you need to cough or whatever, just explain it, you know. He's just he's brilliant.
Did you have moments where you thought like, oh, I hope that we can get this shot because there are so much technical things. How did they ever pull it off?
I think with the crew that we had, you know, I'd worked with a lot of them before, so I brought a lot of them back again. And we are like a family, and I think that's so important when you're working in this world. I only want to work with good people and nice people. And, you know, it's all about having fun, because the job that we do is we are creating every day. Yes, it's a serious job. Of course it's a serious job, but ultimately we're creators and we're creating art, and we need to be having fun. And I want to make sure that everybody enjoys what they do and everybody enjoys coming to work every day. Because if you don't enjoy coming to work every day, then you're in the wrong job. You know, giving people that sort of power to be able to have a voice and sort of, you know, we work things out together. So if something was complicated, you know, it doesn't matter what department you're in or what your role is, you can come to me and say, I had this idea about this thing, have you tried doing this? And it wouldn't be pushed away. And you say, I was watching the thing, I was wondering if you would try this. It's like, if it's a good idea, then we will try it. You know, and so it's so important to create that environment, I think, in the workplace, you know.
Thanks for watching Indie Filmmakers Movie Talks. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.